presentation. Michael is the founder and the head of the Marine Education Center in Malmö, Sweden. He has over 35 years of experience with regards to ocean literacy and marine studies in Sweden. And over the course of since 1980s, he has worked on several assignments with the Swedish government. And also lately, he has been part of the Swedish delegation responsible for input towards the UN Ocean Science Decade. He also worked with several projects in Namibia, especially on learning for sustainable development and marine food between the city of Malmö and in the town of Swakopmund. That is actually when I met Michael on one of those projects, and I had the opportunity to go to Sweden. By that time, the Marine Education Center was still under construction, and hopefully everything is now completed. And Michael, I'm sure we are going to hear quite a number of interesting activities that you have been carrying out at the Education Center. So Michael, I will hand it over to you.
Okay, thank you, Richard. So thank you for being invited to this seminar, and it's really good to see some of you that I have met when I was in Namibia, and some of you have even been here. I'm going to talk about ocean literacy, and it's crucial. And I always start with the planet ocean. I call it planet ocean. And I always start with this picture. And I also talk about SDG 2030. We need to address them. We have gone since 2015, and we're nearly not there to achieve some of the targets that we have had pointed at that time. For instance, overfishing and subsidies for fishing, and we're not nearly there. So we need more focus on ocean literacy and communication about the targets. Those are the targets, but we chose to focus on this in our Marine Education Center. I'm going to show you the center later, but quality education, clear water and sanitation, climate action, life below water, and life on land. Those are the targets we talk about, the goals we talk about when we have students and school children and the public here at the center. And we have also talking about what UN had says we have one ocean and one planet. And that's not a common thing for people, the public, to know about. We talk about the Baltic here and Atlantic and as a separate ocean basins, but we have only one ocean, and we need to address that thing. And ocean literacy is the thing that we need to address. We can't survive without a healthy ocean. Not the humans on land, nor the plant or the animals. We need a healthy ocean. How can we achieve that? I'm just going to give you a picture of my place. This is my place. This is the sound of between south of Sweden, Malmö, and the Copenhagen on the Danish side. This area is populated with 3.4 million people. It's quite dense area, and we have roughly 35,000 big ships passing to this narrow sound. And despite that, today we have healthy area with seagrasses, and we have one of the largest blue mussel areas in Europe. nearly 73 square kilometers of common mussels. They're cleaning the water pathing the sound each day. And therefore we can have a healthy, vivid life here in this sound, with healthy stocks of cod and flatfish that we can actually fish on a sustainable way on these stocks. But the Öresund or the sound was in the really bad condition in the 80s. But we have, together with the cities, the municipalities, the companies, the sewage plants, turn this to a better area today. We used to say this is a model of how to change a bad area, and a model for that we can actually copy and paste to the Baltic or the western side of Sweden near the Atlantic Ocean. So, and here we are at the center. Richard, you have seen that in construction site, but now it's ready. And this is the Marine Education Center that City of Malmö built, and it was inaugurated in 2017 by the Crown Prince of Sweden, Victoria, the Minister of Environmental, Carolina Skog, our mayor, and the government was here. Everyone was here because this was a big start, both for Malmö and us, but also for Sweden, the Marine Education Center. So today we have people, students and school children from kindergarten up to students at the university. And we do also a citizen science project here at the center. So we have quite easy tools for doing this work. It's waders and nets and wetsuits and boats and quite ordinary things. And in the center we have aquariums and tanks, and we have also possibility to work with children with disabilities. So, and the citizen science project could be everything from fishing, learning how to fish, to doing a real investigation for the university, as the picture on the right side up there, the cutting the mussel from herring, and the university want to do DNA samples from herring around the Swedish coast. So we did catching the herring and did the cutting part and do some DNA strings and send it over to the university at Uppsala. And this is a thing we need. We think it's really important to talk about the ocean and engage young children in really young age. So 4 or 5 years, they're starting to coming to us, and they do some netting and go outside and look at the algae and learn how to actually walk like a crab, for instance. But it's starting there. And then we have school children and program within the curriculum of the Swedish school system from every age. And since April last year, we have also become a national visitor center here in Sweden, Visitor Center for the Nature by the Environmental Ministry. So we have a public exhibition, and we have not as big as in Two Ocean Aquarium. We are not an aquarium. We are activity, outdoor activity. So, but this address also the public. So we had last year, when we started in April, despite the pandemic, we have regulation, quite hard regulation. We have over 43,000 visitors at the center from the public, and roughly 6,000 last year school children within our program. So this is crucial for us to talk about our ocean and engage the young students in the ocean, and also do activities in the school time. And to address the public, we have local yearly beach cleanup program, and teaching municipalities or cities coming over to visit us. But the cleanup program is really important because they engage a lot of people here. Last Friday we dived in one ocean harbor and collected over 1 ton of bicycles and electrical bicycles and everything we found on the seafloor. So what's actually the meaning of ocean literacy? And ocean literacy has 7 principles that is crucial and important. The ocean, Earth has one big ocean with many features. So we talk about the basins we have, and this is a thing we need to take in consider. And the ocean, number 2, is the ocean life in the ocean shape the feature on Earth. And this is we can see the sea life in our mountain now. There were formal sea floor, but every mineral, geochemical cycles originate from the ocean. And this is another thing we talk about. The ocean is a major influence on weather and climate. The ocean moderates the global weather and climate by absorbing most of the solar radiating heat. And this we got the weather we deserve when we push the ocean so hard, heating up the ocean. This is another thing. Most people doesn't know where the oxygen from in our atmosphere comes from. They just talk about the lung of the earth is the rainforest, but the ocean that's produced more than 70% of the oxygen in the atmosphere. So we can't live without the ocean. So, and there's another thing we really don't talk about. The ocean supports a great diversity of life and an ecosystem. We talk about the ecosystem services. We talk about the ecosystem in the ocean we have to protect and preserve. The ocean and humans are inextricably interconnected. Everything, the ocean affects every human life. Our fresh water comes from the rain from the earth oxygen, the O from the earth. The ocean moderates the earth climate and influence our weather. Provide us food, medicine, and mineral and energy resources. We need the ocean. And the last thing is, the ocean is largely unexplored. That you all know, less than 5% is explored. And this year is a start for the UN Decade of Ocean Science. And the latest assignment by the government was, how can Sweden put the influence in the Decade of Ocean Science? What's the important thing? And I was talking about ocean literacy. If we can't communicate to the public and the school children what the researchers does in the ocean, in the basins, in the shallow areas, the reports and the scientists' work is not recognized. We need to have the ocean literacy. We need to get the public and the school children aware of how important this is. So it's not stopped with just an investigation, research. We are really bad on communicate the research work. We need to engage the young children. For 5 years ago, we started Young Ocean Ambassador program here in Sweden. This is me and the government's ocean ambassador, Helene Ogren, and Fatima. She's 15 years old. We were invited to Stockholm and talk about what can we do to get young people engaged in decision-making progress in the government or in the municipalities. How can we engage the young people? So we started Young Ocean Ambassadors at that time. So here's the World Maritime University students that we have in Malmö. We have the UN university here in Malmö, and every student that comes from every corner of the world are staying here in Malmö for 3 years, I think. And they all visit our center because it's crucial for them to get involved in the ocean. And the lady in red on the right side, she's the president, Cleopatra Doumbia-Henry at the UN World Maritime University. And she also talked in the inauguration 2017 and spoke and said, if every student have been at the center and took these examples out to their own countries, could be spreading the way of getting more people ocean literated. So I think I just want to say a couple of things of ocean literated, how to engage the people in the city. This is Malmö City, a vision of the city within 25 years. This is a new city part. It has been a harbor for many years, but the harbor had moved farther out, and this will turn out to the new city part. And the planners the landscape architects, they all saw the beautiful water and draw some boats on this water there. But it is 8 meter depth, a really bad area. I've been diving there for many years, and it's a lot of garbage, but have possibility to change if we make it shallower. So I said to the architect, let's do 3-4 meters. Let's recreate the area, the shallow areas that have been there before. It was a harbor. For 300 years ago, we have beautiful seagrass areas and bladder wrack, a lot of fish, and let's do it. And this is a part that is recreated. And those, it took a little time to change the politicians and decision makers, the architects, to understand what can you actually do to increase the biodiversity in a really poor area as a harbor, just by raising the seafloor to 3-4 meters. So this is what we talk about in ocean literacy, and I think I ending there with One Ocean and One Planet. And I have a couple of more minutes for some questions. Hope I made it roughly clear for you.
Are there any questions from the audience for Michael?
Richard?
Hi.
Yeah.
Hi.
Thank you. Can you just explain to everybody that how the shallowing of that harbour increased the biodiversity? Was that mainly because of circulation and light?
Yeah, we here in the southern parts of the Sound, we have the best eelgrass area, I think, in the whole world, because we have eelgrass down to 11 meters, and that's quite impressive. And the seeds from the eelgrass, when the coming in July, June, and the city area, the harbor area, if we shallow that area, building with rocks and also sediments, the spawning of the seagrass area is self. What do you call them? With seeds, because of the heavy, dense areas with seaweeds outside. As you saw in the One Ocean, One Planet, that seagrass area is so dense. We have kilometers of 100% of coverage of seaweed. And the big ferries that goes from Malmö to Germany 2 times a day, when they go out in the harbor, they push the water in from the ocean. We have the salinity is here in the south of Sweden can vary from 8 ppm to at the best, when they have high salinity, we have 20, 24 ppm. So it is different a lot, but the pushing the salt water in that area, and that causing the mussels, the spawning on larvae from the mussels, to attach on the surface there, and we have the seeds from the Zostera, and we have also the bladder wrack. So the picture that you saw is actually from the inner harbor that were connected with the channels, and when you coming and visit us, you can go by the train under the water, and that is on top of the tunnel there. So we have many good spots where there were actually, we could actually see that if we do that, cover it with blocks and sediment and sand, and we can actually recreate the areas. So that will be biodiversity increase in that area, and also the visibility in the harbor. You can actually swim and fish in the harbor at that time. So
that was just altering the circulation by shallowing it because of the traffic.
Yes, we have a channel inside Malmö, but they're coming from inlet from the ocean in the channels, but also rainwater, and that's also, and that's too much nutrients. But we actually we need this seagrasses and the algae to be there because the cleaning. So
yeah, classic example of development and science, right?
Yes, and we had another area where there were a channel for the wharf that were in Malmö before, and the big ships were dragged in the wharf, and that channel was completely dead, but the areas outside was really high eelgrass areas. So when the harbor just moved out, they have to excavate, and those blocks and sandstones were in that channel, and within 4 years we had eelgrass in that, before that the area was dead before. So that can actually do things.
Okay, I'd like to hear from you how it's technically possible to make an area of an ocean less deep. You have to either lower the water level, or you have to add some sediment or soil. And then, and how long would that take to re-establish really a habitat with life?
This area here, is on top of the tunnel from the train from Copenhagen. It's the City Tunnel, and this was a protection from the tunnel element. So they protected with some gravels and stones, and on top they had some sediment or sand in this. And within 3-4 years, the marine Zostera marina and the bladder wrack and the algae and came there. They were not planted there. It just happened to be a good surface for the seaweed and seagrasses and algae. And just 10 meters from here, you can actually see how it's look here. It's dead bottom because this fine area was 3 meters, 3-4 meters, and here you have 8 meters. And that's just 10 meters from the tunnel. So here in Sweden, we talk a lot of planting the seagrasses here, but I think we had so many good areas with Zostera marina that the seeds from that could spread along with the current and just starting to grow. So
in other words, you just filled up the
Yep.
whole bay with sand or whatever.
with gravels and rocks and on top sand. But it shouldn't be an even area. It should be uneven with big rocks pointed up, because then we have for the brown algae to attach. So was that answer for you?
That was fine, thank you. Richard, we best keep going now, right?